Let's do a bit of touch up and final polishing to the gameplay and the entire project. So we can start with selecting this plane first of all and rename it to something like floor, so it makes more sense. Next thing we can do is set the camera actor. Now we have few unwanted rotations we can get rid of, so this can be -35 and 0. Alright, next we can select all these assets, so excluding the camera and the player, everything else, and we can make a folder called assets. So we have everything organized in there, only camera and player is outside. Perfect. Now next thing we can go in lights, select the skylight, and source type we can set to specified cube map, and in the engine defaults there is sunset ambience, so it kind of gives that sort of sunset lighting. And we can set the intensity to around 2.5, so it's a bit brighter. Now light source we can name it to main, or main light source, main light, and we can set the intensity to 2. Now we can alt and drag, so it creates another copy. We can call that as secondary light. So basically we are gonna have the platform and other objects get a different sort of lighting to make it more appealing. So let's do that. So for the secondary light, all the settings are gonna remain same. What will change is we go into here at the bottom, there is lighting channels, so instead of channel 1 we are going to make it channel 2. So how that works is we can go in assets, select all these assets, again same, we go here, not in collision, in the basic one, or it should be somewhere around here, in lighting, expand it, channels, and select channel 1 as well. So now they will be affected by light 1 and 2, while the player won't be affected by light 2. So now let's give this a bit of rotation, so we have a different sort of shadows. So for X value, let's try something around 310. For Y value around -30, and for Z around -48. So now we have soft shadows in this direction. Cool. So that's probably it for the lighting and the camera. Now let's tweak a bit of materials. So we go into assets, materials. Let's start with the first one, platform. So double click on platform base. For color, let's see what can be a good color for this one. Let's set this to around 0.65, and blue can be 0. Okay. For the values, 0, roughness 0.6, and specular 1. Save. Now for the next one, let's go for platform top. That's this one. So for the color, 0.45, 0.6, and 0.03. Okay. Now for the metallic and roughness, we can have it like last 0.6 and 1. save. So that's the platform and the base. Now what else can we do? We'll go to the treetop, and give the colors to that. So first one can be 0.37, green we can leave it to 1, and blue can be 0. For the metallic roughness and specular, roughness around 2 would be nice. Save. And for the tree trunk, we go to color. R can be 0.16, B can be 0.11, G can be 0.11, and B can be 0. And again, for the roughness value, we can set it to 2. Save. For the rocks, they are fine. So that looks pretty much better than before already. Now, one more thing we can do before we end is make sure all the blueprints are properly named and corrected. So we can go into platform first, press C, comment this out. So this is when killer hits floor, and we can have it in green. Then in BP killer, we have this one, when killer hits player, green. Let's make sure everything is properly arranged. Compile, save. For player, now I usually like to color code whatever I get from somewhere else to be purple, so I know I haven't touched those codes. For the rest, here it's pretty fine. We have committed everything. Now you might find this as the boring part, but it's very important, because once you're working on it, you remember where what is, and it's easier to navigate. But if you come back to this after a few weeks, you will be lost finding where the variables are, where the functions are. So if you arrange them nicely and color code them, have proper names, it makes a hell lot of easier to work on it in the future. So compile and save, close this one. We have the gameplay. So again, we'll arrange the gameplay. We have it here, these are part of here and here. Now this one should be green because we completed that code as well. Add score, play SFX. So basically all our start game, end game, reset game, load save game, load game data, save game data are at one place, and the rest of the functions are at the other, the custom events, that is. So that's pretty fine as well. Compile and save. And the last thing is the HUD. Go to designer, and let's arrange this as well. Now in case you have all this overlapping wires and you want to make them arrange better, you can double tap anywhere on it when it highlights, and you can drag it, so that way it's easier to understand where the wires are going. Another way to check is to just hover over it, and it shows you the link. So that's a good technique. Again, here, since we have it a bit disorganized, let's make it better. So we can double tap here, bring it down, double tap here, and bring it somewhere here, so it's more understandable to see where the loop is going. Same for here. Let's make this better. Readable code is much better than disorganized. Perfect. And let's put them here. Compile and save. So that's basically it for, let's test it. One more thing, when he's disappointed, we see him kind of trying to get up before it loops. Let's miss one point and you will notice. See, he kind of tries to get up and gets back down. Let's fix that as well. So we browse to asset in the anim. This disappointed start, it has a loop animation, so let's turn that off.